Hey everyone, this is Nick at Stridewise.com, where we look at men's boots and high-end casual wear. Today I'm looking at one of Red Wing Heritage's newest boots, the classic Chelsea. For what I would consider America's most beloved heritage boot company, Red Wing has had a surprisingly spotty history with Chelseas. I think maybe it might be because the Chelsea's origins aren't in American workwear like most of the company's boots, because Chelsea started out as horse riding boots in Victorian England. They're said to have been invented for Queen Victoria as a walking boot, and then it became common among the upper class horse stables. None of this is evocative of the rugged American working man boots that Red Wing is known for. But of course nowadays Chelsea boots are common everywhere, from suits to farms and everywhere in between. But Red Wing hasn't had much success keeping a Chelsea in stock long term. The customer base just doesn't seem to be super jazzed about it. Prior to the classic Chelsea, Red Wing had the Rancher, which was similar but with a hard mini lug outsole like the Iron Ranger. And then they had the Weekender Chelsea, which I did a whole video on and was much slimmer and a much lower profile boot with a thinner sole and lightweight stitched down construction. It was sold as a leisure boot, but it hasn't been in production for some time. This time around, Red Wing has tried to stay truer to its roots. Instead of going with a leisure boot, they're going with about as close to a heritage work boot as a Chelsea can get. A round toe, a thick wedge sole, and a Goodyear welt construction. In fact, I'd say this is the chunkiest Chelsea I've ever seen, and it really stands out. I was chatting to Jake at Almost Vintage Style, which is this heritage fashion blog, when I was in California this summer. And when he saw me in these boots, which I've been wearing on and off for about 6 months now, he told me that he thinks of Chelsea's as something he'd wear with a suit, like a long, lean boot that's often made with some nice supple calf skin and often a Blake stitch. And I see where he's coming from. These days, they are longer and leaner and dressier than this boot. And when they're not dressy, they're usually smart casual in the United States. Except of course, if you're talking about the Blundstone, but that's a cemented boot, it's under $150, and that's another story and another category. So while to the untrained eye, and to those that don't spend their lives obsessing about boot trends like me, this might just look like a Chelsea. This is actually pretty daring as an entry into heritage footwear. You don't see work boot brands like Nicks and Whites and Truman, I guess, even trying to do Chelsea boots. Like, it's not in that category normally. This boot here comes in 3 leathers right now. There's a black one, there's amber harness, which I think is best known for being on the 8111, which is the best known variant of Red Wing's iconic Iron Ranger boot. And there's this leather as well, the Hawthorne Muleskinner. This is Red Wing's waxed rough out. For those that don't know, rough out is the other side of the leather. Like, it's leather flipped inside out, so you get the fuzzy flesh side on the outside, and the inside of the boot is like leather, you know, like what you'd see on the outside of a normal boot. It's not suede, looks like suede, but it's not. It's way tougher and it resists scratches a lot better than your average full grain leather. And applying the wax makes it extra resistant to water and salt. It was really common on boots in the World Wars. It's a lot tougher than it looks. Now, I actually had the pleasure of visiting Red Wing headquarters in Minnesota this summer to preview some of their upcoming styles with their product design and development manager. So here's Mike Larson breaking it down a bit. Thanks, Nick, from the future. Here I am with the design and development manager, Mike Larson at Red Wing itself, in Red Wing, Minnesota. Mike, how's it going?
Great.
Yeah.
We're very happy you're here.
Yeah, I am too. I wanted to get your take because the Red Wing Classic Chelsea, for many people, they're like, okay, cool, it's a Chelsea with a wedge sole, but you've introduced a lot of like interesting new tech in the sole construction and also under the vamp as well, right?
That's right.
Can you walk us through what is different about this? Because a lot of people are going to be like, all right, fine, it's Red Wing leather insole, cork filling, and then a rubber outsole, but there's more to this than meets the eye.
That's right, yeah. So it's the exact same construction we've always done. Process exactly the same. We've just made some swaps with the materials on the inside. So from the outside, you're right, it looks exactly like our boots. But on the inside, there's a different story that's going on. I have a cutaway here of a new boot. So 2 things we've done to improve the comfort under the foot and around the foot. And by comfort, I mean out of the box fit and feel. So under the foot, we have our new insole construction. And when I say new, it's new to heritage. This is the type of construction that's been done a long time, both in our work brand and other brands. But as you know, Nick, we have in our current line today of heritage, our veg tan insole, 100% veg tan, really thick insole in our ply rib. What we've done is we've taken our Texon material, which is a recycled wood material, and we've added a layer of foam open-celled pour-on foam, and our chrome-tanned natural aniline full-grain leather cover on top. So that's our 3-layered system that you see on this cross-section here.
So a difference is that you do have the leather. You call this leather insole or leather footbed? What do you call it?
We call it like insole cover. It's covering the insole layers.
So it is leather, but unlike the very kind of stiff and hardy vegetable tan one, this is chrome tan for more softness. And then in addition to that, you've got this is pour-on foam, right?
Yep.
And there's also Texon?
Yep, that's Texon.
Wow. All right. So that's and normally on Red Wing shoes it just goes cork filling and then leather insole, right? You don't normally have foam in there.
That's right.
Cool.
I'll grab an 875 here, cut in half.
All right.
So you can see the traditional construction. You see right on top is the full thickness veg tan leather, the cork, your mid, and your outsole. Here you can see leather cover, pour-on foam, Texon, cork filler, midsole, and outsole.
Wow. Oh, and also you got this new material on by the toe, right? What's up with that?
Yeah, that's right. This is, traditionally we do either leather or canvas vamp lining. This is our polyester nylon spacer mesh. So
spacer mesh?
Yeah, because it creates a mesh and a space for air to circulate around your foot.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's so this relative to like a normal like leather lining, this helps to circulate more air throughout the foot, right?
And it creates around the foot comfort. So as you're first breaking in a pair of boots, this gives you a lot more comfort as that's happening.
Can I see you've got a pair of these that are all old and beat up, right?
Yeah, I do. Being in product development, we're very particular about how our boots break in. And so here's a pair that I've been wearing for a long time. I decided to cut it in half and see what's going on the inside. And I did the same thing with our 8138 mock toe.
Okay.
So I wanted to compare the differences. You can see, obviously with the veg tan, it molds to your foot. You can see my nice toe prints there. And same thing's happening here too on this insole. It contours to your foot, and it still maintains and retains its shock absorption on the foam.
Yeah. Are there any downsides to this new kind of construction?
Not really. I mean, the authenticity story is the main difference.
Sure. Okay.
But for a modern consumer who's looking for maybe getting good welted footwear for the first time, this is really accessible to them.
It's a good entry point.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've shown my boots that I've been trying to break in a bit over the summer, but this is more serious work. This is the kind of thing you can look forward to.
Yeah, I beat them up hard because I want to see how far I can take them.
Great, cool. All right, sweet. Well, back to me in the future in my review. Now, I should apologize that I took these outdoor shots with 6 months of dirt on the boots. I gave them a brush down with a horsehair brush before I got here today, and they're a bit more presentable now. The wax rough out is famous for its patina, like the way it ages. As for the comfort, this is a nice cushy crepe sole, identical to the one you'll get on Red Wing's mock toes. Fun fact, it's made by Vibram. I always thought it was from somewhere else because it doesn't have the Vibram logo on the bottom, but yeah, this is indeed a Vibram Christie wedge sole. A wedge sole means that it's flat along the bottom, with the idea being that it's harder for it to catch on like nails or ledges or rocks or whatever when you're walking around a job site. If you're trying to work out sizing, you should order a half size down from your true size. So if you measure your feet in a store on a Brannock device, and you're an 11.5 like me, you probably get sneakers in a 12, and in most boots you'd be an 11, and you'd be an 11 in these. If you own other Red Wing boots, then just get your usual Red Wing size, because this is made on the same last, the number 8 last, that you get on the other classic boots like the Iron Ranger and the Blacksmith. So to that end, it's got a bump toe, so you have more room for your toes to wiggle, and again, it's worth emphasizing that this round, roomy toe is rare for a Chelsea. It's also worth emphasizing that this doesn't come in any wide widths just yet, but some guys with E-width shoes find the number 8 last roomy enough for them to wear in a D or normal width. So that might be you if you're just a bit wide and not like wide. So to sum up my thoughts on this boot, I mean, what I'm about to say can be a pro or a con depending on your point of view. This is a groundbreaking boot in many ways. It's a symbol of Red Wing bringing the Chelsea model back to the company's work boot roots. And it's a very rare example of a Chelsea work boot. It's not a smart casual boot. It's not a horse riding boot or even really a farming boot. I mean, Mike Larson actually wears these on his farm. Obviously, you can wear these for whatever you want. But my point is that a Chelsea that is both roomy and well constructed, I added that qualifier so you wouldn't put Blundstone in the same category. A Chelsea that is roomy and well constructed is rare, and so Red Wing has made something that stands out and I think will appeal to guys who want more of a heritage work boot vibe from their footwear and from Chelsea boots. But the wedge sole and the last also make it pretty street friendly, I think. I don't love that the black one has a black sole. I think it could have been a lot cooler with a white one. But as much as I like the Rancher Chelsea that Red Wing used to have, I think Red Wing made the right choice by pairing this round toe with the Christie sole. I think the hard mini lug sole isn't casual enough for a boot like this. So it's a Chelsea that works. In other words, some people just find it off-putting to see a Chelsea that's so roomy and so far out of its natural habitat of smart casual wear or business casual wear. Totally fine if that's you. But if you've always wanted to see a more casual and robust Chelsea, Red Wing has done something new for the market, and that's not something I often get to say about boots. All right, that's my review of the Red Wing Classic Chelsea. It's a pretty new boot, although they call it classic, but I think it's deceptively intriguing, you know? Like the more I thought about this boot, the more I realized it's something very new despite being something relatively subtle. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and make sure you subscribe if you're new here because yeah, I got a lot more looks at Red Wing boots. I got that footage from when I went out to see them in Minnesota this summer, a bunch of travel-y stuff, all boots and heritage fashion stuff coming up. Stick around.